Well, first of all, I would like to say that we have to be very clear that those diplomatic treaties and proposals that Russia put on the table were framed to launch the war. There is nothing really that the West could have done in the framework of the international law to prevent this from happening. That's a little bit of what's happened in the past. Now, what could stop him now is, in a way, very resolute cost that will be inflicted on Russia and very strong support that we will provide for Ukraine. Sanctions, of course, SWIFT, even Russian National Bank that holds financial reserves in foreign currencies, trade restrictions, and let's not forget Belarus, because the tanks are rolling from Belarus towards the Ukraine's capital. Full isolation of Russia internationally. On Ukraine side, and this is very important, military aid should be provided, finance lines should be open in line of, let's say, Lend-Lease, like President Roosevelt did for the United Kingdom when United Kingdom was fighting Second World War. Humanitarian assistance. If Ukraine falls, let's be clear, peace in Europe will fall. This will have a spillover effect on the continent.
Absolutely, it will, Orysia. And I want to bring our viewers across a line that you mentioned the other day in some research of yours, that there's a deficit in firearms buying for certain Ukrainians. They want them, but the procedures and licensing have made it hard. Can you paint us a little bit more detail on that?
Well, this situation has been liberalized since we were talking last time, but there is a clear shortage in terms of access to firearms. Ukraine has created, in addition to its permanent armed forces, territorial defense units where civilians could sign up to mount resistance and to protect their families and communities. And these people will need assistance. But that is already, containing Russian capacity to take over Ukraine. But I think we should do as much as possible at this stage, including defensive cyber attacks on Russia in order to cripple its position, basically to take over Ukrainian capital and to take over Ukrainian cities.
Now, you've already mentioned, of course, that we had this build-up of propaganda, you called it there, the information warfare over the last few weeks, the build-up of huge numbers of troops on the border with Ukraine, and yet so many people still thought an invasion wouldn't happen. I hope this isn't too personal for you, Orysia, but I want to get your reaction, how you felt when you woke up this morning and saw the news.
Well, it's shattering news. My family is in the western part of Ukraine. My friends are in Kyiv. My friends are in Kharkiv. This is, of course, mind-blowing, and I think it will take time to grapple with this reality, whether we again sleepwalked into the war. And I think that, of course, Russia will be stopped where we can stop it, where Ukrainians jointly with Western allies, and these could be multilateral and unilateral countries,